Kirtana. Best role taker goes to Toastmaster Kamlesh. Best evaluation goes to Toastmaster Vaidyanathan. And best speaker goes to, as always, DTM Rajdev and also Toastmaster Preeti. So that's all from my side. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Toastmaster George. Dear members, can we declare the minutes passed?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We have many wonderful guests in our meeting today. Can we have a few introduce yourself? Can we have just looking for Gaurish? You there? Gaurish, you there?
I'm sorry, it was muted. Yes, I am there.
Yes, please. You just tell your name, what you do.
Yeah, hi, I'm Gaurish Kumar Katil. I'm a chartered accountant and I practice in Bangalore.
Thank you, Gaurish. Can we have Krishna Sandy, please?
Hi all, this is Krishna Sandy here. So I work with SAP and I'm an HR professional. So this is the second club meeting that I'm attending. I'm part of We Speak Toastmasters. And I really want to understand how exactly Bangalore Toastmasters is, because I've been hearing about this club a lot and about the members and how the presentations and meetings are conducted. So was eagerly looking forward to this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Krishna. Thank you so much. Can we have Nandini, please?
Hello, sir. I'm Nandini. I'm from Belgium. I'm pursuing LLB from RL Law College, Belgium. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we have many guests in our meeting today. Due to the paucity of the time, let us welcome all our guests with a good round of applause. Let me start with a question. How much of our life have we spent angry or unforgiving for less suffering or for circumstances out of anyone's control? Unfortunately, many spend part of your life angry or unforgiving themselves, unforgiving ourselves. If you ask me, yes, I am one amongst them. I started introspecting my life over the period of time and started practicing and honing the skill of responding with joy and gratitude despite horrendous situations, despite horrendous circumstances. I realized nobody can give me joy or nobody can take away my joy from me without my permission. This particular thought left me with a space to count on the blessings, the joyous moments I have to be grateful for every day. You believe it or not, this activity made me so strong and resilient that I don't have time to think about any of my sufferings. Before joining Toastmasters, I was very conscious about my talk, conscious about the way I dress up, conscious about the people around me. I would say, rather, I was living a life as per others' choice. I'm so happy and blessed and grateful to this particular fraternity, the Toastmasters fraternity, Toastmasters platform. If you look at a Toastmaster structure, we have to be grateful for many things what this platform is offering for us. But many of us take it for granted. One person whom I can't forget in my life in Toastmaster Journey is my first mentor, Toastmaster Raghunandan. When I joined Toastmasters, my writing skills, my language, my diction was so bad, so pathetic. And my self-confidence was big zero. And the list is on and on. But my mentor literally pushed me in shaping me what I'm today. I used to work closely with him from getting my scripts ready to its delivery. After the office hours, we just go to a park nearby regular meeting place Ashirwad and spend hours together practicing my speech. And he's so perfectionist. He wouldn't allow me if there is a single mistakes in my speech. He would say, practice again, come all over again. It could be the end of my speech, but we'd say, no, you start from the beginning. Whatever I am today, the whole credit goes to my esteemed mentor, Toastmaster Nandan Damle. And I'm grateful and indebted to him forever for his help in my leadership journey. That's what I'm telling all our members. If you want to be strong in your communication and leadership journey in Toastmasters, you have to work closely with mentors, your mentor. Don't expect your mentor to come to you. You have to buy their time and go to them. And before that, you have to have a good relationship with your mentor. I'm always grateful to each and every moment I spend in Toastmasters, especially in Bangalore Toastmasters Club. I'm proud to say that it channelized my leadership journey in a different direction. Now, to take this meeting further, we have a Toastmaster amongst us. He has been with Bangalore Toastmasters Club for more than 2 years. He is originally from Malnad region of Karnataka, an engineer by profession. Living here, he's been living in Bangalore for the last 20 years. When I asked, what is it one thing you're grateful for? Am I grateful for in your life? He said, he is grateful and indebted to God for the opportunities bestowed upon him to improve himself in every areas of his life. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome the MC, the Toastmasters evening, Toastmaster Nagendra.
Thank you, President Ayappa. You can hear me well?
Yes.
Yeah. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. I welcome you all to this wonderful meeting of Bangalore Toastmaster Club. Today seems like a more Thanksgiving day. Like Shabari spoke, Ayappa spoke. Both were thanking people, and I am no different from that. I will continue with more Thanksgiving in my speech. But this is absolutely required because today's theme itself says gratitude is a magnet for happiness. To start with, I'll just brief how I joined Toastmasters. 2 years ago, when I realized it's enough of being feared of public speaking and I should definitely come out of it. I was looking for some help. Then I came to know about Toastmasters and especially Bangalore Toastmasters Club. I decided to attend a meeting as a guest. In the first meeting that I attended, Toastmaster Melvin was president, and the way he addressed the meeting and how he spoke with members and guests really made me very comfortable in that environment. In the break, I went to him and I casually spoke with a lot of hesitation. I told him, sir, I have a speaking disability. He looked at me and asked, what disability? I told, I get nervous when I speak in front of many people. He had a big smile on his face and he told, it's not a disability. It is just that you have to practice more and more. That day, I thought, if at all I come out of my fear ever in my life, that should be here in the Toastmasters, especially with the people like Melvin's guidance. And he suggested me to join Speechcraft. Even there, he used to come every week and motivate people like us, like me, to improve ourselves and to be a better speaker. Definitely, he inspired me, and I am sure, like me, he would have impressed many people. Eventually, after Speechcraft, I joined this wonderful club. After I joining here, there are many people helped me to grow, especially our past president, Vivek Vijayan and VP Education Vijay Kalkundri, and our current President Ayappa and Srijit. I cannot mention everybody's name, but I want to begin my session by expressing my gratitude towards all these people who made me to come in front of you as a Toastmaster of the day, who was fearing so much. Thank you, all of you. There was also one catch. Unlike Ayappa, Melvin was not asking guests to speak in the beginning of the meeting. If that was the case, definitely I would have run out of the meeting even before it started. Yeah. When I was preparing for this speech, I read one quote which said, "Thankfulness is only beginning of the gratitude, and gratitude actually completes the thankfulness." Whatever we are today, whatever we have achieved, it could not have been possible all alone by us. It's only possible because of people around us made it possible. So expressing gratitude towards them is our utmost duty. There is a say in Kannada, or more I would say an adjective which says pratas smaraniyaru. That means the people whom we should remember as soon as we woke up in the morning. Definitely one should be the God who created us, and the others should be the people who made us what we are, what we wanted to be. And having said that, gratitude and thankfulness can be expressed around the people who live, with whom we actually live. From the smallest things, like we all have been in a situation where we might have been got stuck in a traffic, and all of a sudden from nowhere a person comes and who helps to clear the traffic without any return or any voluntarily he does it. If we cannot be that person, at least we can smile at him or show thumbs up to him to encourage him and appreciate him. That's what a gratitude is all about for me. And being a Toastmasters, we should always be grateful to one person, that is Dr. Ralph C. Medley, who started the Toastmaster movement. He understood the pain of the people who fear public speaking and started this wonderful concept of Toastmasters way back in 1924. Today, Toastmasters is spread across more than 140 countries with more than 3.5 lakh members in it. Typically, Toastmasters meeting will be conducted in 3 segments. First one would be the prepared speeches, where members will be allowed to prepare, practice, and rehearse the speeches and come here and deliver it. Second segment would be the table topics, where the topic will be given on the floor and member will attempt to speak on it. And the third one would be the evaluation, where the entire proceedings of the meetings will be evaluated, and even the speeches will be evaluated and the feedback will be given. Today's meeting will not be any different from this. So to start with the evaluation, or to help us in evaluation, we have a general evaluator who is a true Bangalorean, engineer by his education, and currently working in an insurance company. His recent interest is in trading, especially something called option selling. And when I asked about him what he thinks about today's theme, he said, only with gratitude we can grow as a human beings. Please welcome our general evaluator for today, Toastmaster Manikantan.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nagendra. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. How are you today?
Good evening. Excellent.
Evening.
Great. Evening.
Great.
Good evening.
I'm excellent. Thank you for asking. So today, my role as a general evaluator is like the satellite revolving around the planet, to observe the meeting from the start to finish and come out with my report on what happened and or what did not happen. So I have a team to support me in doing this job. The team involves speech evaluator, timer, grammarian, heart counter, and listener. And this team, Nagendra would introduce them, and I would get back later with my report along with my team. Over to you, Nagendra.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manikantan. To continue with our evaluation team, I would like timer Toastmaster Amir to say a few words about his role.
Thank you all Toastmasters, and good evening to everyone, especially the new guests and our special guests as of today. I would just like to give you a few inputs as to how the timer script is going to go along. I will also be timing each timer using green, yellow, and red cards and denote specific times remaining as such over here. Table topics should be limited to no more than 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will raise the green card. At 1 minute, 30 seconds, it will be the yellow card. At 2 minutes, it will be the red card. Those giving speeches should be limited to these specific times. Icebreaker speeches should be within 4 to 6 minutes of length. At 4 minutes, it will be the green card, 5 minutes, the yellow card, 6 minutes, the red card. Most of the other speeches that are in the prepared section should be within the 5 to 7 minute limit. At 5 minutes, it will be the green card, 6 minutes, the yellow card, 7 minutes, the green card. Individual evaluations for evaluators who are assessing and going through all the aspects of all the prepared speeches as well as the other aspects of this Toastmasters meeting would have to be limited to 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, it'll be the green card. 2 minutes 30 seconds, it'll be the yellow card, and at 3 minutes, it'll be the red card. Thank you all, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmaster Amir. And let's welcome our counter of the day, Toastmaster Rajiv. Can you please read out your role?
Hey, good evening, everyone. My role is today is our counter. As a responsibility, I have to count all the filler which will get used during the speeches. Also, I'm going to use the filler word like well, but, so, and also any other word which is get repeated number of times like and, I know, I mean. And by the end of the speech, I will give you the detailed reports. And as you all know, the key of communication to express your view properly. And as a Toastmaster Club, we feel that these our words sometimes manipulate our thought, and that's why we count this and try to avoid this. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajiv. And we have Toastmaster Raghavendra as a grammarian today.
Good evening, everyone. I would just like to share my screen. 1 minute. Okay, the word of the week is indebtedness. The meaning is a feeling of owning gratitude for a service or favor. The usage: I share this feeling of deep indebtedness to Toastmasters International for helping me improve my communication. I urge all the speakers, evaluators, and everyone speaking in this meeting to use this word of the week. And I also keep track of the good usage and not so good usage of the language, and I'll share my report when called upon. Thank you. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raghavendra. And we have a listener, Toastmaster Nazin. Can you please read out your role? Hello, Nazin.
You are on
Yes.
mute, I think, Nazin.
Mute.
That was the whole point. It was an exercise for the brain to see how many of you are attentive. And so I'm glad with the response. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. I'm the listener of today's meeting. And there is a slight twist today. You don't have to guess the speaker. It's the other way around. I shall give you the name of the speaker, and with the clues provided by me, you have to guess what the speaker spoke. Don't worry, it will be fun. And definitely, you will be able to recall what the speaker spoke. And this will be an exercise to your brain, as listening is the first step to the preamble of good speaking. I take this opportunity as I'm indebted to Bangalore Toastmasters Club for providing me a platform to discover myself further, gain confidence, and broaden my vision. Gratitude is the word that comes to my mind. Thank you, Bangalore Toastmasters Club, Mr. President, and the whole team. I give you a great salute. As Antony said in Julius Caesar, I would like to request you all, lend me your ears, honored guests, and fellow Toastmasters. Founder of Toastmasters International said, we learn best in moments of enjoyment. So let's make this last meeting of this last session a rocking one by giving our best. I shall present my listening skills when the General Evaluator calls upon. Thank you, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nazin. Okay. So, please give a big round of applause to all the role takers today. Please unmute yourself, and it should be like we are in Ashirwad Center where here a big round of applause. I see a lot of people still on mute. They will be called in table topics at first only if they don't unmute and applaud. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's begin our first session, which is prepared speeches. We have a wonderful speaker lined up for this evening. To begin with, we have a first speaker who is attempting level 3 project.
I really appreciate this wonderful introduction.
Level 3 project 2 from Persuasive Influence Pathways. And this speech will be evaluated by Toastmaster Umakant. Can you please read out the guidelines of the speech, please?
Thank you, Toastmaster. The guidelines of this project is, the purpose of this project is to remember is for the member to practice delivering social speeches in front of club members. Okay, and this speech timing is, timer please note it is 3 to 4 minutes of speech, and that's for you. And at 3 minutes you can raise the first card, and then at 4 minutes you can raise the red card.
Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Umakant. And it's a very special occasion speech, raising a toast. When I asked about what are the thoughts of next speaker on the gratitude, she mentioned any day which is spent without being thankful, she will never consider that day existed in her life. So please welcome our next speaker, Toastmaster Smitha, on stage, please. Smitha, over to you.
Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
As this year, 2020-21, goes down in the history of Bangalore Toastmasters Club as a year of virtual meetings, so does the name of this gentleman who made the sale so smooth from offline meeting to online meeting. First as VP Education, then as the president of the club, I raise the toast to you, Toastmaster Ayappa. You can clap for him. Now, the year went past. You all had the good leadership of Toastmaster Ayyappa. I had been a witness to his transformation, and the journey had simply been one of dedication, determination, and discipline. He had a vision for the club to make it top-notch. And of course, the efforts paid off. Bangalore Toastmasters Club is a President's Distinguished Club now. My Toastmasters journey, as I went ahead, I used to, especially when contests come, I used to hesitate. And there was this gentleman. One message will come, Smitha, just join. And that was the Eagles push that made me win the ISC contest second place and many other contests too. When we heard of the world champion of public speaking going to give an educational session, there was a tinge of disbelief. But as Dhananjaya came, spoke, conquered our minds, so did you, Ayyappa. You conquered our minds. It just showed your power of communication and networking skills. It's no secret that Ayyappa takes personal interest in the growth of members. As time, you would have felt, every one of you would have felt that. You know Ayyappa as a fitness enthusiast, a theater person, entrepreneur. But when I heard his speech, CC's speech on the issues he faced with his father's dementia, the speech simply proved his mettle as a great speaker, but more than that, as a kind man, good at art. So I was so overwhelmed. I remember him telling me once, sharing with me how he spent the entire night taking care of his father. And the next day he was in BTMC to keep things moving. That was the kind of dedication this man had.
Hello.
So I stand to raise this toast to you, Ayyappa, for a great Toastmasters journey. As quoting Dhananjaya Hettiarki, I see something in you, but I don't know what it is. But to Ayyappa, I want to tell you, I see something in you and I know what it is. You're a great human being. And an even greater leader, a leader par excellence. So with the toast, I would like to wish you all the very best in your journey and even greater Toastmasters journey and a journey of life too. Over to you.
Thank you, Smitha. Thank you so much.
Wow, that was an excellent speech, and I completely agree with you, Smitha. That Toastmaster Ayyappa is a great leader as well as a great human being. Please give a big round of applause for Smitha. Please unmute yourself, otherwise you will be called.
I'm clapping, Nagendra.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, let's move on to our second speech of the day. And this speech will be evaluated by veteran Toastmaster and past president of our club, Toastmaster Vijayan. Can you please read out the guidelines?
Thanks, Toastmaster of the day. This project is understanding the communication styles, understanding your communication styles. That means the member will try to understand the various types of communication styles and also study about the impact of some of the communication styles that has had on her. So You will have a report on the impact of different communication styles that impacted the member. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vivek. And the next speaker, she has given many wonderful speeches in this club, and also she has taken many leadership roles in our club. When I asked her thoughts about today's theme, she said recently she has traveled to Puri Jagannath, and she made a solo trip that was very successful, and she is grateful to God for making it happen. And also many strangers on the way, they helped her with food and accommodation in this pandemic time. So she is very grateful for all those people. Please welcome on stage Toastmaster Varsha with the speech titled Reach Beyond Your Speech. Toastmaster Varsha, all stage is yours.
Kindly mention the time for the speech. Please mention the time for the speech.
I think 5 to 7 minutes.
5 to 7 minutes, yeah. It's not.
Sisters and brothers of United States of America, it fills my heart with joy unspeakable to raise in response to the warm and cordial welcome which you've given us. I thank you in the name of the most ancient order of the monks in the world. I thank you in name of the mother of religions. And I thank you in the name of the millions and millions of Hindu people of all classes and sects across. I will quote to you, my brethren, a few lines from a hymn which I remember to have repeated from my earlier days of childhood, which even to this day is repeated by millions of people. As the different streams having their sources in different places all mingle their water in the sea, so, oh Lord, the different paths which men take through different tendencies, various though they appear, crooked or straight, all lead to thee. I fervently hope that the bell that tolled this morning in the honor of this convention may be the death knell of all fanaticism, of all persecutions with the sword or with the pen, and of all uncharitable feelings between the persons wending their way to the same goal. This was a speech which was delivered at Chicago, the Parliament of Religions, in the year 1893 on 11 September. And this was delivered by, any guesses?
Swami Vivekananda.
Swami Vivekananda.
There you go. Although he had spoken in praise of his religion amidst the men who neither belonged to his country nor his community, he had gained a thunderous round of applause and a standing ovation. I was wondering as to what gained this amount of respect to an individual. Was it the confidence? Well, he claims that he had to be escorted from backstage to the podium with the help of 3 men, and he was that nervous. Was it the costume? People of America had thought that he was an alien and wanted to shoo him off from their country. Was it the choice of words? Well, every individual presented in the parliament had a fancy script to present with great choice of words and a better language. What was it? After deep evaluation, reading between the lines and watching videos repeatedly, I understood that was the way he communicated, which gained him a huge amount of respect. Dear Toastmasters and guests, the same piece of information can be conveyed to different groups differently. And thereby we infer that there are different styles of communication. There is a direct style where you have a very straight approach. There is an initiative style, which is a diplomatic approach. And there is a supportive style, which helps people to sympathize with you. Now, why is it that I had a huge impact after I listened to this speech? Let me tell you. It was this speech which took Vivekananda from Kolkata all the way till Chicago. It is this speech which earned Swami Vivekananda recognition, respect, rewards, communication, crowd, conviction, funds, and most importantly, the mercy of his Guru, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Ladies and gentlemen, it is this speech which laid the foundation for him to find Ramakrishna mission 100 years ago with hundreds of branches in different parts of the globe just by word of mouth. We must remember that it was neither an era of social media nor the internet. If not for his leadership led by his communication style, his dreams would have been like a mirage in the middle of the desert. No, just because you like a particular style or you have a particular style of your own, it doesn't mean you should cling to it. Now imagine me walking to my boss and telling, hey, you know what? Your ideas are crap. Why don't you follow my ideas so that we grow into a $1 billion company? I would be kicked out and I will not even be able to afford my Toastmasters membership fee. Likewise, my mom is looking for grooms. I'm a most eligible girl to be married. Now, that doesn't mean I have to have a very diplomatic approach. Now, if I'm just beating around the bush, the guys might have dirty ideas in their mind. I have to be very straight in communicating to them as to what I feel about them. So communication style is depending on the situation, the people you interact with, and most importantly, what you need to communicate. Always remember, a smart one speaks to win a debate. A smarter one speaks to win the people. You know what the smartest people do? Let me quote a joke here. I just happened to read this in one of the magazines at my office. If you are at fault and you apologize, that means you're humble. Now, if you're not at fault, or maybe you're not sure and yet you apologize, that means you're wise. Now, if you know that you're not at fault and yet apologize, that means you're a husband. I'm sure all the married men in the group can agree with me. Now, peace matters the most because these are the ones who are to spend their lives for a couple of years with their spouses. Now, communication can make or break people depending on how you put it across. Always keep that in mind and adapt to your style accordingly. While knowing your style helps you improve and be a better communicator, knowing others' style will help you earn that respect, reward, and recognition. Most of all, you can lead by an example. Over to you, Nagendra. Thank you.
Wow, that was a powerful speech, Varsha. I must say you have reached beyond your speech, definitely. Now you all know what you should do, You please unmute and clap.
You don't clap?
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Beautiful.
Moving on to our third speech of the day. Our next speaker is from Texas. He's an international speaker. It's our pleasure to have him in our club. He was a semi-finalist in World Championship of Public Speaking in 2020. He's attempting level 5 speech in effective coaching, high performance leadership. The speech is evaluated by Senior Toastmaster Godfrey Sons. Sir, can you please read out the guidelines of the speech?
Am I audible?
Yes.
The purpose of this project is for the member to apply his or her leadership and planning knowledge to develop a project plan organize a guidance committee, and implement the plan with the help of a team. The purpose of this second project is for the member to introduce her plan and vision and share aspects of the experience of the project. Please note, the speech time is 5 to 7 minutes. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Godfrey Sant. Please welcome on stage Toastmaster Farse Gutako from Texas. The speech title is The Key to Finding Your Voice. The Key to Finding Your Voice from Toastmaster Farse Gutako.
Ladies and gentlemen, as speech writers, we write every single word with great intention. But the fact of the matter is, our audiences cannot remember everything we say. If we're lucky, they'll remember one sentence. One, that's all. So how do we make sure that our message reaches its destination? To put it simply, we have to key the words. We have to key the sentences. Today, I'll be talking to you about finding the key to your voice. Not just the voice here, but the voice here. We go towards our voice. Today, I'm going to invite all of you to speak. And so I will follow in the footsteps of our great Toastmaster today and ask all of you to unmute and say this sentence with me. Everybody unmuted? All right. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Today,
I will speak with a rich, round
voice. Excellent. That's a warm-up I use every day. Every day. And I encourage you to look in the mirror and say, today I will speak with a rich, round, resonant voice. But if I said that to you, keying every single word, it would sound like this. Today, I will speak with a rich... Oh my gosh, you can't put up with that. That's like listening to your mother-in-law. That's like listening to cats fighting. I'm sorry, have I just insulted your mother-in-law? You weren't really that disappointed, were you? But I'm sure there are some mother-in-laws out there. My apologies. So, we're gonna look at a simple phrase like I love you. Is that a softer phrase? Excellent. I think this is gonna be more palatable to everybody there. Let's take one example of I love you. If I were to key just the first word, I love you. Not Aipa, I love you. Sorry, Aipa. Or what if we key the second word? I love you. I don't just like you. I love you. And maybe it's because it's so hard for me to say that word. Maybe you're the first person I've ever loved. Maybe you're the first person I've ever said that to. I'm not going to ask you to show your hands if this is true for you or not. I love you. Not Hannah. I love you. These are important words to distinguish, aren't they? It changes the meaning. I totally changed the meaning of this line by keying different words. So in your speech, if your audience is only going to remember one line, we need to make sure that it conveys the meaning. Let's look back at this slide here. Whoop. The key to finding your voice, the key word, it's the one word in the sentence that unlocks the meaning of the line. Yes? The key unlocks the meaning of the line. Because if you key different words, you have a totally different meaning. Now let's take a look at this one again. Remember, today I will speak with a rich, round, resonant voice. Which word was the most important? Take, for example, resonant. Yes, resonant. Today I will speak with a rich, round, resonant voice. Now I'm used to saying this sentence, but if one of you had to say it, I can tell you, you might run out of breath. That's a fairly long sentence, and you're gonna run out of breath. How are you gonna have enough breath to key that word? What if I keyed the first word? Today, I will speak with a rich, round, resonant voice. Let me ask you a question. What happened to the rest of the sentence? After I keyed today, what happened to the rest of the sentence? It dropped off, didn't it? It dropped off. After you heard the first word, all these other words disappear. So we might need to have two keywords. My friends, this is going to cost you. You're not allowed to key two words in a sentence. The audience gets confused. For example, today I will speak with a rich, round, resonant voice. Multiple messages. Are we doing that today, or are we thinking about a resonant voice? It's going to cost you, and it's going to cost you a breath. Yes, my friends, you may only have one word per breath. If you want more keywords, then you have to take more than a breath. So for example, I take a breath before I start. Today, a breath, which is a lengthened pause. I will speak with a rich, round, resonant voice. One keyword per breath. If you want more than one keyword, take more than one breath. You can also have a pause. Today, I will speak with a rich, round, resonant voice. You can have a pause and a breath. 1 slash equals a pause. 2 slashes equals a breath. You can also have secondary keywords. You can have a primary keyword and secondary keywords. Take a look at this one. Today. Today, my cat will speak. Today, I will speak with a rich pause, round pause, resonant breath, voice. As you can see, my friends, there are many ways to key an individual sentence. What we have to decide is what's the most important word in my sentence, which happens to be the most important sentence in my whole speech. Your audience can't remember everything that you say. They can't. I know you thought that was just, your teacher that you didn't want to listen to, but everybody, even when you want to listen to something brilliant they're saying, we just can't remember everything. So make sure that they remember the one thing that you want them to understand, the one phrase. You may have to say that phrase more than once. And then key the word that unlocks the meaning to that sentence, and therefore unlock the meaning to your speech. Happy keying, my friends, and remember to take a breath. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Wow. Thank you, Toastmaster, for saying. I must say that was a wonderful speech from you. You have educated us a lot. Thank you so much. Please give them a big round of applause. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's move on to next speech of the evening. It is the last prepared speech for today. Our next speaker and evaluator both are very well-known people in Toastmaster fraternity. Speaker is delivering his final speech in his chosen pathway, presentation mastery. May I request DTM Toastmaster Sumitra ma'am to read out the guidelines of the speech, please.
Yeah. Toastmaster of the day, my fellow Toastmasters. The purpose of this project is for the member to reflect on his growth during the completion of an entire path, and also to share some aspect of his growth during the completion of the path. Time, it's 10 to 12 minutes. Back to you, Tio Modi.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Our next speaker is a Toastmaster since 2007, and he's a champion of table topics and evaluation. He's a star of our club, but very, very friendly person. Please welcome on stage Toastmaster Rajdeep Mehwani. Stage is yours, sir.
Thank you so much, Nagendra. I'm audible?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the road less traveled, and that has made all the difference. These were the famous lines of that brilliant poem by Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken. And I think so that symbolizes my journey through this pathway. Because it was August 2018, I was midway through my second Distinguished Toastmaster journey. I completed my ACB and I was going into my ACS, and I had 2 years still to complete it in the old path. But I had a call from the then VP Education, Vivek Vijayan. He said, Rajdeep, why don't you take this path? I said, why? He said, this might inspire other people to do it. So I told yes. And I took the pathway, knowing well that I may not be able to do it so well, but I took the road less traveled. And then what happened? I went to the website, and since I can't see, there is something called as an accessible version of this entire document for presentation mastery, but it wasn't accessible at all. And I was a little cute. I said, how can I go through this entire journey? With Vivek Vijayan's help, we sent at least 15 different emails to Toastmasters telling them that this material is not accessible for visually impaired. And after 4 months, in the month of November, Toastmasters revamped the entire material and they sent it to me via Dropbox. I started my pathways journey, carving a path for those people who were visually impaired. And now all the different pathways are absolutely accessible. Thanks to Vivek. I learned at that time that if you insist and persist, everything is possible. Let's start off with my journey in this wonderful path called presentation mastery. I gave my icebreaker. And there was this young Toastmaster who, in his enthusiasm to actually introduce me, spoke for 2 minutes as my introduction. My icebreaker became my speed breaker because I had to speak for 4 to 6 minutes. He had spoken about me for 2 minutes. I don't know how I managed that, but that went on well. And then I went on to level 1. Level 1. The first speech which I gave was inspired by an incident. I had gone to my friend's house and he was scolding his son. He was telling, Raghu, you idiot. You've got only 65 in mathematics. Look at your neighbor Anita. She's got 91. Raghu, you fool. You've got only 73 in English. Look at your neighbor Anita. She's got 95. Raghu, you mad fellow. You've got only 60 in science. Look at your neighbor Anita. She's got 98. And my friend's son Raghu looked up at his father and said, Dad, looking at Anita, I've got all these marks. And you want me to keep looking at her? And that made me decide on giving a speech on children and comparison. And my first speech in level 1 on evaluate and feedback was children and its comparison. It went on well. And then it was August 16th, 2019. we had a very, very innovative vice president education called Vivek Kalkundri, who decided to have a reverse meeting. And in this reverse meeting, he called me up and he said, Rajdeep, you know what? You're going to be evaluated before you speak. I said, Vivek, but why are you going to choose me? I'll have to gear my speech according to the evaluation. He said, Rajdeep, you are one of those few members in our club who can speak without thinking. And I realized what sort of a reputation I have in this club. However, I went on to give that speech, and my evaluator, who evaluated me even before my speech on this reverse meeting, was Alok Simha. And he gave an amazing evaluation. He said, Rajdeep, you spoke so brilliantly about the frog's kiss. And I was completely stunned. But I went on stage and I said, everybody wants to speak long, like the long tongue of the frog. But if you keep it keep it short and simple, that's where your communication becomes effective. And I gave the example of my grandfather, whose friend stood for the village headman and used to speak for long hours, and he never got elected. But one day, a cow kicked him on his face and he lost his teeth. And whenever he used to speak, he couldn't speak for more than 2 minutes. And after that, he kept on getting elected as the village headman. So I said, keep it short, keep it simple. The third most important thing in level 1 was research. And researching, I had never researched before getting married. I had never researched before taking up this path. And now suddenly I have to do some research. It's said that when you copy from one source, it's plagiarism. If you copy from several sources, it's research. So I decided to do some sort of research. And what was the topic I chose? How men and women communicate. Because that was the pain in my life, at that time, the pandemic. And I realized when I was going through the research through the National Institute of Linguistics that on an average, a man speaks for 25 to 30,000 words per day. But a woman speaks 40 to 45,000 words per day. But the problem is that by the time the man comes home, he's finished his quota and the woman hasn't begun. And I realized that I have to understand and be a great listener to my wife. And I said, from now on, we will have a pact. My wife will go her way and I will also go her way. And my life has been very peaceful after that. The first level taught me maturity. It taught me to be mature, not comparing children, handling my wife, and also learning how to adjust to situations. Let's go to level 2. In level 2, I learned 2 brilliant aspects. One, I had to speak on my mentor. And I gave a gratitudinal speech to the several mentors in my life. My Toastmasters mentor, Vijay Anand, who actually taught me how to speak a little slow, so I'm not so slow now. But he used to tell me, Rajdeep, you're speaking so fast. It looks like as if a husband is turning his pages on a Playboy magazine in front of his wife. And I used to tell Vivek, Vijay, please. He used to tell, no, cool down, cool down. And he taught me that. Another mentor whom I remember is Mathur Krishnamurthy from Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. I'd gone to give a speech to the MBA students there. And as I went into the hall, he said, Rajdeep, remember 100 hours. I said, sir, I'm speaking only to 50 students. It's not 100 hours. I'm going to speak only for 2 hours. He said, no, Rajdeep. You as a speaker are responsible for 100 hours because 50 students into 2 hours makes 100 hours. Remember that responsibility. I paid gratitude to my mentors. And the second speech in level 2 was the communication style. I learned a communication style. I had to discover my own communication style. I was in a parent-teacher meeting and every parent was asking me this question, what will my son become, sir? I used to say, oh, your son and daughter has a great future. So one of the other faculty came and asked me, why are you telling this? All students, do they have a great future? I said, no, if they're good in academics or they're good in extracurricular activities or they're good in sports, I tell them have a great future. I'm not trying to tell anything other than that. Then they said, suppose they're not good at anything. I tell their parents, your son and daughter will become just like you. And I learned that I had a supportive style with a little bit of initiation. The second level taught me to cultivate the attitude of gratitude and the attitude of self-discovery. Let's move to level 3. There was a man called Rajesh Javeri. He fell from the 4th floor of a hospital trying to commit suicide. When he got up, he opened his eyes in front of the doctor and he said, "Doctor, where am I?" He said, "You're in the hospital." He said, "But I wanted to commit suicide. I was so fat and obese. I didn't die." The doctor told him, "You didn't die, but you killed those 3 people on whom you fell." And that led me to my persuasive speaking manual, where I urged everybody to eat less and exercise more. Because it was the mid of the pandemic, and I found out that everybody who was actually getting a heart attack or who was dying in the pandemic was actually overweight. Because, animals eat when they are hungry, but human beings eat when food is free. So I said, no, this cannot go on. And I told nobody should be allowed to drop junk into your stomach if you don't allow that. So that was my persuasive speaking. I also learned vocal variety, and that helped me a lot. During the pandemic, I had to take online classes for my students, and I used to say, "Shut up, all of y'all." I remember when I was in college, there was this girl who was going in the bus, and there was a man who actually stamped on her, and she said, "Stupid, what are you doing?" But that same girl, when she got down and her good boyfriend came and he caught her hands from the back, she said, "Stupid, what are you doing?" And I understood the power of vocal variety. I also understood the power of descriptive language. I learned to use personification. I gave a speech on traffic where I said the cars were smoking like a chimney. In India, in UK, cars go on the left, but in India, we travel on what is left. And I learned personification, similes, triads. And in this very beautiful level 3, I learned very, very importantly how to grow in vocal variety, to teach my students how to grow in persuading people, how to use descriptive language. And that growth happened to me in level 3. In level 4, January 29th, 2021, we had the first offline meeting after the first wave of the pandemic. And it was 2 hours left, and Srijit rang me up and he said, "Rajdeep, Vaidyanathan, who had to speak, is not speaking, and you were his evaluator, your evaluation is cancelled." I was speaking to Varsha, my mentee at that time, and she told me, "Rajdeep, sir, why don't you speak?" And I took the initiative and I did my first speech on entrepreneurship. I understood, that entrepreneurship is so underrated, but it's so important to have goals, to have grit. There is somebody was asked, what's the difference between an entrepreneur and a chicken bucket of KFC? A chicken bucket at KFC can feed a family of 4, not an entrepreneur. And I said, this myth has to go. And I spoke that with question and answers. And I took another initiative in level 4. It was the Valentine's Day special, Love and Mush. And I gave an amazing speech, which was the podcast, where I gave a love story of Charles and Susan called The White Ribbons. And these 2 speeches in level 4 taught me to take initiative when it is called to you upon. The last level, level 5, I started off with a professional speech. I was doing research on servant leadership, and I came across a very interesting episode. There was a teacher who went to class and she asked a student very haughtily, "If God appeared in front of you, what would you ask God for?" He said, "I'll ask for an iPhone, I'll ask for a laptop, I'll ask for a car." The teacher said, "No, you shouldn't be asking for that. You should be asking for wisdom. You should be asking for talent. You should be asking for courage." The student smiled at the teacher and said, "Sir, you ask what you don't have, I'll ask what I don't have." And I learned that we have to speak on humility. And I gave that speech on humility as a professional speaker for 15 minutes. But the most important lesson which I learned in level 5 was when I did the group discussion moderation last week. I didn't know what to do. I rung up Ayappa and I told, "I want to do this speech in our club." And Ayappa said, "Don't worry, I will arrange the speakers. I will do everything. Just conduct the moderation." He collaborated me. He sent messages to all the people. And I learned this great message of collaboration, where if you respect your leader, remember the last statement I said when I conducted my group discussion. When a manager enters a room, he says, "Here I am." But when a leader enters a room, everybody says, "Here he comes." And Ayappa was that leader who collaborated with me perfectly for that particular moment. I learned these 5 lessons. maturity, attitude, growth, initiative, and collaboration. MAGIC. And it was magic, absolute magic. And I want to end with the same poem I started with. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the road less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you, ATM
Yeah,
Rajiv,
that's
sir.
it. Super.
Sir, only you can deliver such an effective speech full of punchlines, sir. Thank you so much. So, Toastmasters and guests, with that speech, we have come to an end of first segment, which is prepared speeches. Now, we will move on to the next segment, which is table topics session. As you all know, this session is very interesting, very exciting, but only for few, maybe not for people like me. I must admit that when I joined Toastmaster in the beginning, in the first few meetings, I used to sit near the door in the Ashirwad Center. As soon as people prepared speeches get over, I used to slowly go out of the meeting itself. But after a few meetings, with all your support, I was able to sit for this session. But I was trying to hide. I was praying God that the Toastmaster table topic master should not know my name at all. But that did not work always. I had to go on stage and speak on table topics many times. But I must say, those are the speeches that gave me more courage to speak more and more. And my fear has gone out exponentially. So I suggest each one of you to take part in table topic session today. To conduct table topics.
What is the code, please? Code? 9999, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. To continue with the table topic session today, we have a young Toastmaster who recently graduated and pursuing his MBA. He is from one of the oldest area of Bangalore, which is Vijayanagar. When I asked him about his thoughts about today's theme, he said, gratitude is one of the pillars that holds the happiness. And he thinks one can live a life to its fullest only when he learns to appreciate. So please welcome on stage today's table topic master, Toastmaster Achyuta. Please give a big round of applause for him.
Good evening, Toastmasters and dear guests. So I've decided to take a different route with the table topics today. They're all taglines of different brands. So if you paid attention to any television advertisements or hoardings when you're going around the city, you would be definitely knowing these taglines. Brownie points if you can guess which brand the tagline belongs to. Speakers, please note, we would be indebted to you if you could conclude your speeches in 2 minutes or less due to the paucity of time. And with that, I will start giving out the topics. So can we have Toastmaster Mahesh Shankar?
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah, Toastmaster Mahesh, your topic is new thinking, new possibilities. Over to you.
I guess it is Hyundai. Is that right?
You're on mute, Achyuta.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So only when you have an imagination would you be able to come up with ideas. So new thinking gives you a different perspective. It will allow you to think beyond your comfort zone, and which can also create a lot of possibilities. I always believe in that. So even either at work or let's say even when you're with your friends, it is much easier to work through with the team and also come with innovative ideas only when we keep thinking new. And by that means, it also helps us to look into all different new possibilities as well. Even let's take an example, because of the COVID, there was a new thinking that why not use online, that is Zoom, and that created a lot of new possibilities. Today we have team across from various places, regions, even beyond country, where people are willing to come participate, and also we are able to learn a lot. Thanks a lot. Over to you.
Thank you for that. Next, can we have Toastmaster Alan Arana?
Yeah.
Toastmaster Alan? Yeah. Your topic is think different. Think different. Over to you.
Think different is the tagline of Apple. Yeah. So when I think of this line, think different, I remember the famous writer, philosopher, Alan Watts, his famous quote, which basically asked a very, very simple question, which is, what would you do in your life if money was not the main focus? What do you enjoy doing the most? Is it horse riding? Is it climbing trees? Is it gardening? Right? And that's when you realize that most of the decisions that we make are because it is based on money. So his thought was that if you do something which is of your own interest or something that interests you, soon enough, you will be so good in that it will be valuable for whoever is seeking it. So it could be horse riding, it could be gardening, it could be anything. So his simple philosophy is that when you want to do something in your life or you're trying to figure out your passion, don't start with money, but try to understand that if money was not the objective, what would you do? And he said, if you go on that path, soon enough, 5, 10 years down the line, people will see value in you, and they will pay for that. And that's the thought that came to my mind when I heard your think different. And I thought it was a different thought, and I wanted to share it with all of you. Thank you for the topic, Table Topic Master.
Thank you for that different interpretation of the tagline. So the next topic is the happiest place on earth. The happiest place on earth. For this, can we have Toastmaster Vaidyanathan?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topic Master. I'm not sure what tagline, which organization this tagline represents, but this topic, happiest place on the earth. Before the lockdown, and I would put it in 2 different ways, before the lockdown and after the lockdown. Before the lockdown, I had an opportunity to travel across the country by virtue of the profession that I'm in. Right from Jammu and Kashmir to Kanyakumari, I traveled the country many a times. But one particular place which has stood in my memory for a very, very long time is a place called Darjeeling, which everyone knows, and a place very near to Darjeeling, which is called as Kalimpong. I haven't seen a place which is as beautiful as Kalimpong or Darjeeling in my life at all, with all those green meadows, with the lovely little kids moving around and very innocent looking people and the wonderful nice team that moves around. You will be completely cut off from the hustle and bustle of the life that we get ourselves immersed in day-to-day life when we are here in Bangalore. But that's one place which is the most beautiful place, which according to me on earth. And that was before the lockdown came into picture. But after lockdown came into picture, I think the small home that I have in Bangalore, only with my mother, is the best place that I can think of. I never had an opportunity to spend that much of time before the lockdown, but I cherish every moment now because I stay with my mother alone here in Bangalore, and my home is the most beautiful place on earth now. Thanks a lot for the wonderful topic. Over to you.
Thank you for that wonderful description. For those of you who didn't know, the tagline belonged to Disneyland. So the next topic is go the distance. Go the distance. For this, can we have Toastmaster Sudipto?
Thank you, Achita. Yeah, thank you, Achita. Go the distance. Yeah, again, I'm not sure whose tagline this is. So to speak on that, what comes to mind immediately is about leadership, about how leaders first, I mean, who is a leader? Leader is one who obviously sets out a vision, but leader is also the one who walks the talk and walks the vision, make sure that he or she walks with the team till the attainment of the vision. One such incident comes to my mind, early 60s in US, and US and Soviet Union were at that time in a hot race for the space. And actually USSR was a couple of years ahead. They had put the first person on the Yuri Gagarin circling the earth. And at that time, JFK as the US president made a bold vision that we will put a man on the moon before the end of the decade. And he didn't rest there, right? He revamped NASA completely. He made sure the entire nation was living the same dream, same vision. He walked the talk. He walked the talk on, even though he was not the president when US landed a man on the moon, but US did become the first country to land a man on the moon in 1969, I guess. Back to you, Achita.
Thank you for that. So the next topic we have just do it. Just do it. For that, can we have Toastmaster Nagesh? Toastmaster Nagesh, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Go on.
Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster Achita, for this topic. I think this tagline belongs to Nike, which is if you look at the logo of Nike, which is a tick, it is very, very similar to what Yes Bank also has it, with a slight differentiation on the curvature where it turns. However, coming on to the topic of just do it, always when we plan something, we are in dilemma if it will work. We always have pros and cons. We always think too much on our plan, whether we will be successful or not. To give you an example, we always, when we think of a response, or when we are typing an email response to somebody, or we are trying to text it to somebody as a response to some message that we have got, we keep thinking, what is it that the other person is going to think after reading it? We go too much into what we plan to type or what we plan to do anything next. However, I have often seen that people are not thinking about you most of the time. Everybody have got their own battle to fight. They have their own challenges to look at. They have their own routines to do, and they are engrossed in what they are doing. So what we just discussed in the morning also with somebody, what is best for us is to give our best response. What we think is right is what we think we must just do it. We should go ahead and do it and think about the consequences most of the time later. What is here is a demon most of the time when we try to plan things, and especially from the perspective of somebody else. We should plan it from the perspective of ourselves and go ahead and just do it. What is right, you should go ahead and do it. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you for that wonderful interpretation of the topic. The next topic is the ultimate driving machine. The ultimate driving machine. Can I have Toastmaster Puneet on stage for this? Toastmaster Puneet.
Hi. Thank you, Toastmaster. I think it's BMW's tagline, ultimate driving mission. Whenever I see that, what is that which drives me, which wakes me up to say that, reach up the goal, what you want. I look at, is it my passion? Is it my family? Is it my friends? Is it my past? Is it my failures? But it's not the one thing which makes, to take drive your life to take to a success. All put together take you to make you, makes you drive every day. But who will drive that machine? It's you who drive the machine, not anybody. To drive that, you need to have that something like petrol to fill it. To that is where you should have, that should be an objective of your goal, object in your life that you should drive. That is where you can really drive your machine to reach that goal. Without that purpose, without that objective, without that passion, without that purpose, without even whatever it could be, family, friends, you can't drive that machine. Only having car cannot take you there. It requires what it requires you to take you there. Thank you.
Thank you for that. The next topic is impossible is nothing. Impossible is nothing. Can we have Toastmaster Prateek? Prateek?
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are. Go ahead.
So impossible is nothing. So we are usually plan about our future, and we think about a lot of things, and we take a step back. Similar thing that happened with me was Toastmaster. So I always had a scared that about coming in front of a public. So that is when I thought, okay, I'm to overcome it, but I'll take a first step in order to overcome it, and took it so that I can overcome something which I have always thought it is a very frightening. Back to you.
Thank you for your own personal story about the topic. So the next topic is, this will be the last one for today. The next topic is, the miracle is you. The miracle is you. Can we have Toastmaster Sureka on stage? Ma'am, you're on mute.
Thank you so much for the topic. I'm not sure about the tagline, but the miracle is you. Yes, it indeed is. And I remembered of a personal anecdote where I was with my little grandson in Ooty at a Ooty guest house. And there on the lawn appeared a green turtle. He got absolutely enamored by it and wanted to play with it. But the moment he went to touch it, it withdrew its neck and its limbs and went into its shell. He got upset and he tried to tap on it in order to activate it, but it remained shut down in its shell. Then he took a stick and wanted to poke it into it so that in order to activate it. That's when I came there and I told him, son, that's not the way to ever get the best out of the turtle. Come, let me show you a better way. And I picked up the turtle and took it near the fireplace inside. As soon as we did that, after a few seconds, it began to warm up. It stretched out its neck, it stretched out its limbs, and then started to crawl. And just like that turtle, aren't relationships like that? The more we warm up to them, the less we complain, the less we blame, and the more we encourage people, the more we empower them, the more we focus upon their positives and not upon fault finding, the more we develop the ability to enhance their positives rather than have the savage satisfaction of tearing them down. The more the people come out of their shells and respond to us and empower themselves. So that's the lesson that we have to learn from this tagline. Over to Table Topics Master.
Thank you, ma'am, for those wonderful words of wisdom. And with this, we come to the end of Table Topics. So it's back to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Nagendra.
Thank you, Toastmaster Achyuta. That was an interesting session with wonderful topics for the members to speak on. Thank you so much for that. Please give a big round of applause for Achyuta. Please unmute. Thank you. With that, we have come to an end of table topic session. And to move on with our third session of the day, which is evaluation, I would like to invite on stage our general evaluator of the day, Toastmaster Manikantan. Please give him a big round of applause. Manikantan, stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nagendra. What a stellar performance. To me, it was like watching a blockbuster movie. I'm sure everyone was glued to their seat and did not want it to move an inch. For such a performance, we should start with a thundering applause to all the speakers and role takers. Now, most of us must have heard this story, The Emperor's New Clothes, where two people dupe the emperor, saying they can produce a magnificent cloth that would be invisible to stupid or incompetent person. Every person in the kingdom does not say a word, even though they cannot see the cloth on the emperor, fearing they will be termed as stupid. But one child shouts, saying why the emperor is not wearing a cloth. I feel feedback should be as transparent and as innocent as it is coming from a child, and the only reason to help the other person to progress. Now, coming back to the evaluation of this meeting, I joined the meeting at around 6:10, and we had our veteran Toastmasters, Robinson sir, President Ayappa was there, VP Education, Srijit was there. All were welcoming the guests and the Toastmasters, and there was a very casual chat happening, so which was very good. At around 6:15, I saw 11 people logged in, and that kept on increasing as we progressed. One thing was, the initial plan to start the meeting was around 6:20, but I know online it's not easy, but something what the committee could try to keep up the time. So we started a little late, but when we started, as usual, our Sergeant at Arms, Sabarish, has been doing a great job for the last 6 months. And he comes up with, his energy and enthusiasm, and he always has something to share about a social cause. And, it's very nice to listen to him. He is like the ignition of this meeting. So it starts off the meeting with his thoughts and speech. So today was no different. And keeping in line with the theme of the day, gratitude. So he started by saying his gratitude to all the committee members. So that was done very well. So as such, that's very nice starting to the meeting. Maybe one suggestion for Sergeant at Arms is maybe Sergeant at Arms can join the meeting well in advance and greet the guest, talk to them before the start of the meeting. And what he could also do is, he or she can do is create a kind of a countdown at the last minute, so that everyone, all the guests and Toastmaster prepare themselves, settle down, and look forward for the meeting to begin. So that would be nice start to the meeting. So, but Sabarish, thank you so much for doing a great job for the last 6 months. A big round of applause for Sabarish. And then we come to the man, President Ayappa. I mean, Ayappa, you have set a record, which may be difficult for anybody another person to break this record within BTMC, Bangalore Toastmasters Club, for being president for 2 consecutive terms during challenging times and conducting online meeting for almost all both the terms, majority of both the terms. So you have set a high level as a president, and online meeting on a Friday evening, the peak crowd was about 66. That speaks volume of your leadership and how you have taken this club in the last 2 terms. A big congratulations and to our President Ayappa. Yes, people, you can unmute yourself and. And then we had, yes, and then the stage was taken over by my friend Toastmaster Nagendra. I mean, Nagendra, he did mention that this was his first TMOD role, but he has done a great job on his first time doing this role. I mean, what I felt very good about him is, even he started by giving his gratitude, and he was very calm and very clear in what he wanted to speak. And he had done his own research. He has his own style, which is good, and he continued the meeting throughout the meeting, introducing the speaker and also introducing the evaluators and calling out them. And after the speech was made, then he was trying to connect what the speaker said and then try to move on with the next speaker. So Nagendra, a job very well done. Maybe just one suggestion is maybe because this TMOD is a kind of a host, connecting and bringing in so much of energy to keep the audience, speakers and the role takers motivated. You could bring in that energy in your speech and also involve audience as much as possible. One incident you did involve them, where you threatened them to call for table topics if they don't unmute them and upload the participants, which was very well done, Nagendra. Can we all unmute and give a thunderous round of applause to Nagendra?
Thank you, Mandan.
And speakers. I mean, today we had 4 brilliant speakers, and it was such a wonderful meeting to witness and learn from them. To go into the evaluation of those speeches, so we have our first the evaluator of our first speaker, Smitha Roshi. The evaluator is Umakant. Can I request Umakant to give his evaluation on Smitha Roshi's speech, Toastmaster Smitha Roshi's speech?
Thank you, General Evaluator Manikandan. Raising a toast always engages the audience, and it brings out something, a mystery. For whom is she raising a toast? The Toastmaster is raising a toast. And here Smitha Roshi was wonderful in bringing out the essence of raising a toast. She kept it short and crisp. She brought out whatever has to be told about the president. It was very apt for this occasion, the gratitude and the indebtedness what she had to pay for the president during this difficult times. She kept it very crisp. That's what I liked about the whole speech. And she was very clear, very slow, clear, and articulating the words very well. There's some points which I felt she could improve was on, at certain places when you're raising a toast, if she could have raised her pitch a little bit, that would have created a more impact. But knowing Smitha for a long time and the way she speaks, she's done an excellent job. And considering all the difficulties, raising a toast in an online meeting is always difficult. And the way she brought it out, she brought out the glass to raise a toast. It was very well done. Smitha, you appear very comfortable, self-assured while raising the toast, and keep it up. We'll hear more from you. Thanks. Cheers, Smitha. What is the toast? Generally validated.
Thank you, Toastmaster Umakant, for that evaluation. I think you have given the right feedback to her. And Smitha, I think from my side, you have chosen the right person on the right day. toast to our President Ayappa. Can we have a big round of applause to our speakers, Smitha, Roshi, and Evaluator Umakant, please? And our next speaker was Varsha, and she's being evaluated by past President Vivek Vijayan. Vivek, can you please give your evaluation?
Thank you, General Evaluator. Understand your communication style was one of the actually very tough projects where you have to find the impact of your communication style or the communication style of somebody on you. So what I really liked in Varsha's the way Varsha has executed the project and summarized in her speech is she presented the outcome of the style in the very first in the introduction itself. That, like, I mean, when you present the outcome, then you would want to feel like, oh, what's the communication style? How is this going to impact? So it is really helpful when you bring out the outcome of the style itself. Then the interest builds in the audience. That's really very few people can do. Structure your speech in such a way that you can build an interest in the audience. And then what I really liked is the way Toastmaster Varsha dissected the communication style of Swami Vivekananda, and went into the minute aspects of things, the tactical aspects of things, which is really good. So these are the two really things, apart from the initial presentation, etc., where it was extremely well done to arouse the curiosity. But let me just Varsha, if you were to redo this project completely, so what can be done if you were to? The communication that affected you must be on the analysis of a public speech, but not be on an analysis of a public speech, but of that of a colleague or a spouse, a friend, or somebody like that. Because speech analysis is different from communication analysis. So that's one thing. And you must detail what is the aspect of the communication that you saw in terms of the project. So there are different classifications that this project says. That is, communication can be direct or initiating or analytical or supportive. If you were to classify into those as to and why you are classifying those, then that would make much more that would redefine the project, and it would make the project more analytical, and it would enable you to really come up with understanding the various communication style and pinpointing to the one which had the impact on you. That's something which perhaps you can take care, or anybody else who's delivering this project should take care. All in all, Varsha, I really liked the structuring of the speech. That was really good, and the curiosity that you tried to get it. But if you can redefine this as a project, more as a project and less as a speech that has to be done on a club meeting like this, then it would take a different dimension altogether, and you should try that next time. It's a beautiful in that respect. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Vivek, for that crystal clear evaluation. And Varsha, for a moment when you came on screen, I felt Swami Vivekananda was attending our meeting. So you had trust for the.
You're on mute, Manikandan. We can't hear.
Yeah, Vivek gave a very clear feedback about your speech. Maybe one thing I observed was the lighting was maybe a little dark, so you're not very clearly visible. We can check on the lighting when you're giving a speech. Okay, now moving, can we have a big round of applause to our speaker Varsha and our evaluator Vivek Vijayan. And moving on to our next speaker, international speaker, Percy. I hope I have pronounced it right. So to evaluate his speech, we have a seasoned Toastmaster Godfrey. Godfrey, can you give his evaluation?
Hello, I'm audible?
Yes,
hello.
Godfrey, you're audible. Yes, you're audible. Hello, Toastmaster Godfrey.
Hello.
Godfrey, you're audible.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, Toastmasters and General Evaluator and the speaker, Percy in particular. Your project, Key to Find Your Voice in Speech, I would like to analyze and summarize in an acronym, KEY. Now, K stands for the knowledge that you gave us, that any message, the intent of the message to last, live, or linger in the mind of audience is very important. But how do it? Because in a 7 to 8 minute speech or a 12-minute speech, there will be so much of information to share and the content can fade away. To do that, so that it remains in the minds of the audience and remains for a longer time, you need some keywords. So that these keywords, how it should be, so that it remains, it reiterates, reinforces, and resonates in the minds of the people. You gave us an example how to do it with that rich, round, resonant voice, how to say it. The best thing I liked is when you told us how to do it, you used all the best possible theatrics that you could do. How to use your facial expression, the stress on the words, at the same time, the do's and don'ts, especially the do's, how to not to have two keywords. And if you feel that it's going to be two keywords, then how to avoid it by using the pause and the breath method, so that the sentence is dissected, primary and secondary words, keywords, so that it will remain effective. All along, you excelled. And I come to your E, you excelled in clarity and the variations of voice and rhythm, and it was laced with humor all throughout, especially the one with the mother-in-law. Lastly, I would like to say the why. You yo-yoed. You shared your screen back and forth with the audience, how to use the keywords, and unravel the mystery to find your voice and communicate effectively and win hearts. At the same time, I feel there were some gray areas where you could still work on, is that the examples were quite repetitive. You could have used some more analogies so that it would have made it more interesting. However, all said and done, I would say we are really indebted to your unraveling the mystery of how to find your voice. And we look forward to more better speeches in the days to come. Thank you. Over to you, G.
Thank you, Godfrey. I think that was an evaluation. And for say, thank you so much for attending our club and enriching us with the knowledge what you wanted to share with us. And before we can we have a big round of applause to our speaker for say and Godfrey and Evaluator Godfrey. Before we move on, I think there is a link being sent for best table topics. Could you please take a minute and put the code remains the same, which is 9999. If it's done, can we go on? And we have the last but the champion speaker of Bangalore Toastmasters Club. And to evaluate a champion, we need one more champion. So we have DTM Sumitra Mohan to evaluate our speaker, DTM Rajdeep. Madam, can you please give the evaluation?
Yeah. Thank you, Manikandan. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible and visible.
Yeah. Mr. General Evaluator, my fellow Toastmasters guests, and Rajdeep in particular. I'm here with a deep sense of gratitude because I've been given the privilege of giving my feedback on the speech by the Kohinoor of our club, DTM Rajdeep. You sure dazzled and cast a spell of magic on us, Rajdeep, with your reflection on your journey through the presentation mastery path. Undoubtedly, you have mastered presentation, and this is why I feel so. You were brilliant in terms of organizing your speech, and you created an acronym for the 5 levels that you went through, namely magic, maturity, attitude of gratitude, how to grow, taking initiative, and collaboration. And it's so easy for us to recall all that you told us, what all you learned in your while going through the path. Now, your speech was also peppered with wonderful stories, a skill you have polished over all these years, right? And you took us along with the way you delivered the speech as well, your vocal variety, the vivid language and imagery that you used. We felt we were there with you going through the path, right? Now, if you were, what are my suggestions for you to, take it to a higher level? Yeah, perhaps you could have brought in little more of your rib-tickling humor, which you are known for. And I felt that would have made your speech a little more lighthearted as well. So it would have been magic with fun, right? And I felt now, since you've grown on this path and all your learnings, perhaps you could have left a message for the younger Toastmasters to inspire them. Something like, offhand, I can just think of be the magic that can inspire others by inculcating the following attributes, and you could have, mentioned that. Now, another aspect I felt you could have brought in was perhaps, this is not the culmination, this is the culmination of my path, but I plan to continue to be a trailblazer on the paths less traveled, and I would take it beyond Toastmasters by, something to that extent if you had said. But undoubtedly, you have mastered presentation skill with your organizing, storytelling, and humor that you usually bring in. So all the best to taking up the next path and reaching your DTM very soon. It's back to our general evaluator.
Thank you, ma'am, for such a detailed evaluation. I think with such evaluations, the speaker wants to come and give more speeches, and it's always a learning from DTM Rajdeep. Whenever he speaks, there's so much to learn from him. So can we have a big round of applause to our speaker, DTM Rajdeep, and evaluator, DTM Smitha, ma'am. So before I have one more person who I missed out, which is table topic master. I'll come to him. Before that, I think we have received a link to vote for the evaluator, best evaluator. Could you please open the link and give your vote? The code remains the same, 9999. I hope voting is done. So coming to our table topics master, which was done by our Toastmaster Kaushik. Kaushik, I think that the kind of topics you chose was easy for people to speak, and almost everyone spoke for close to the time what was given to them. And you also, maybe a couple of suggestions was, you did catch up later, where you first called the topic and first you said the topic and then call the Toastmaster. So that gives the time for the Toastmaster to think about the topic and then speak. Initially, maybe first to Toastmaster, you call the name and then give the topic, but then you immediately corrected, and so which was very well done, spontaneity of thinking. And after the speaker, you also had something to say about what they have delivered. So very well done job on table topics. Maybe one item could be, you could have explained a little bit for the benefit of guests, you could have explained what the table topics is and how it's going to be, that's how the session is going to be run. So that would have given some information to the guest. Otherwise, very well done. A big round of applause to Chitra Kaushik.
Thank you.
So now moving on, we have a tag team timer. Can I call upon timer Amir to give us report? Hello. Timer Amir. Okay.
He's not there, Ramani.
Yeah, he's missing. Maybe he's not there. Later, President Ayappa, later the time details will be shared with the members. Okay.
Yes.
Maybe just a couple of things on the timer. There was some glitch initially. I felt the play cards what you wanted to show was not working. Maybe that could. I know it's technical glitch and we can't avoid it in such setup. It's something you could look into. And especially for when DTM Rajdeep was speaking, you could have told how the timing would be announced. That was not made clear. So that could have been done better. Okay, we move on to the HA counter, which the role was taken up by Toastmaster Rajiv. Rajiv, can we have your report, please?
Hey, hi everyone. As our general regulator has mentioned, all the speeches worked so nicely. I was really able to count very less and fillers. So most of us, we have used the most of time. So I'm not mentioning that, but I'm going to take a name who are even not, I was able to find a single filler. So those names which I'm going to just call out, it's a Varsa, Furse, DTM Rajdeep, and from the table talkers, Vaidhanatham, Nagesh. So these are 5 people who I was not able to find even single fillers. And so congratulations, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajiv. And the next role taker, the grammarian role was taken by Toastmaster Raghavendra. Raghavendra, can we have your report?
Yes. Can I share my screen?
Yes, you can.
Okay. The word of the week was used by President Ayappa twice, Toastmaster Nazneen, and Toastmaster Achyuta, Toastmaster Godfrey. And my apologies if I missed anyone. And the good usage which I found were the following. I see something in you. I know what it is. Reach above your speech. Key to finding your voice. Today I'll speak with rich, round, resonant voice. Road less traveled. Insist and persist. Icebreaker became a speed breaker. Keep it short and simple. My wife will go her way. I will also go her way. Attitude of gratitude. Power of vocal variety. Cars were smoking like a chimney. Take initiative to call when you are called upon. 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. Cherish those moments, living the same dream, absolutely enamored, dazzled, unraveled. And I didn't attempt to basically list the not so good usage because I was an average student, similar to Raghu, which Dr. Rajdeep sir mentioned, and with just one difference. I did just stop with Anita. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raghavendra. And though late, but our timer is back. So, timer, can you give your report, please?
Thank you, Toastmaster Mani, and apologies all Toastmasters. I had a network issue and suddenly got cut off. As for the timing elements of it, most of all the speakers in terms of table topics, prepared speeches, as well as the evaluators went as per time. A few instances have been that they have overshot it by a couple of seconds or by a max of 30 seconds as such over there. In order to call out those people who have been able to maintain the time, especially in this, for the table topics, I would like to call on Mr. Mahesh. Toastmaster Mahesh, Toastmaster Puneet, and Toastmaster Prateek for maintaining and speaking to the topic during the time span over here. In the prepared speeches, all speech masters, that is Toastmaster Smitha, Varsha, Fursi, and DTM Rajdeep have overshot their time limit by a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds, but still overshot than what was prescribed. In the evaluations, I would like to call on Toastmaster Umakant, who has maintained the time and provided the feedback within 1 minute 36 seconds, but the others have overshot even by a couple of seconds, and hence that has been marked as me. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Amir. And before we move on to the next role taker, just a question to the committee. Maybe in the past, I do understand because we are giving this best speaker, best evaluator award, and time was something which was being monitored, and if they are exceeding the time, they were not considered for the award. I don't know if that is being practiced or not. So something for the committee to look into.
Yes, Mani, we have that in mind. We're doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, because this time he's telling all are in time, and maybe a few seconds they've just crossed. I think that should be fine.
Okay, President Ayappa, thank you. And our last, but not the least, role taker, Toastmaster Nazneen. Can you please conduct your listening session?
Thank you, General Evaluator, and my dear fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. So this is with a twist. I'll tell you the name of the speaker, and you have to guess with the clues which I provide. What did he say or she say? Okay. So Toastmaster Shabri introduced everyone in an excellent and divine way. What was the word that he used?
Souls. He used the word, I think, beautiful souls or some souls.
Yeah, I mean, right, but just two words. I said excellent, divine way. Anyone else? Okay, we won't waste much time. Time is precious. 1 minute too early and 3 hours too late. Brilliant souls. And the next one was, he was connected with Srijit. How?
Because both were Malayalis.
What did he say? How did he say? What did he say?
He said that because of a Malayalam
what he
connect.
said is true.
Mallu connection.
Yes, correct. Mallu connect. And then Mr. President, who was the Associate Secretary Mr. President introduced?
George.
That's right. Who was the first guest Mr. President introduced?
Gauri, I forgot his full name.
Vijay.
Krishna.
Gaurish.
Gaurish, correct.
That's correct. Gaurish is correct. Who was the last guest the President introduced?
Krishna.
Nandini. Who said Nandini?
Everybody.
Yeah. Clever Sureka, ma'am. What does the president count?
His blessings.
You're close to it.
Gratitude.
No.
Mentors.
It's joys.
Ah.
Okay. It's fair enough. And what part of the speech was zero when Mr. President started?
Confidence.
Everything. Self-confidence.
End of the speech.
His diction.
Ah.
Okay. And Toastmaster Sudipto Ghosh, who made a statement, we will put a man on the moon.
John F.
Kennedy.
Kennedy.
John F. Kennedy.
Right. Toastmaster, yes, sure. Surekha, she mentioned an animal. Which was the animal?
Turtle.
That's
Turtle.
right. That's right. That's right. Toastmaster Nagendra. How many years did he take? How many years ago did he join Toastmasters?
2 years ago.
2 years.
Right. Who was the president then?
Melvin.
Great. What was his disability?
Speaking in public.
Speaking disability. Good. And what is he thankful for every morning? Whom is he thankful to?
God.
That's right. Great. Toastmaster Smitha, what is her, how does she get inspired by the president? And what is it that actually inspires her? It's an animal.
Eagle.
Eagle's push. That's
Eagle's
right.
push.
That's right. Toastmaster Varsha. Which city did she mention in her speech?
Chicago and Kolkata.
Chicago. Right. And what did the people of America think Swami Vivekananda was?
Alien.
That's right. You're doing great guns. What was the mission formed after the speech?
Ramakrishna Mission.
Great. Fantabulous. Toastmaster Fuse. Where is he from?
Austin.
Texas.
That's right, Texas. And what was the message of his speech?
Key to finding your voice.
Key to your voice. And what was the triad that he used? It starts with R. I'm giving you the
Rich, round, and resonant.
great, stupendous. DTM Rajdeep Manwani. Which was the poem that he chose?
Robert Frost. The road not taken.
The road
Great.
less traveled.
The less traveled.
The road not taken. Who wrote this poem?
Robert Frost.
Great. And what was his first speech about? You were listening, right? We had an exercise also.
I think comparison.
So no one was listening.
The road which he has taken.
Children and comparison. Okay, it's okay. And in which month did the International Toastmasters make the resources available to every person, even the vision impaired people?
I know it's
Which month?
November.
4 months.
November.
That's
Four
right,
months,
November. Who said that? November? Great. Okay. We'll take the last one. Toastmaster Vaidyanathan, which is in the lockdown, which is his best place that he likes?
Home.
Darjeeling and his home.
With his mother.
Yes. Thank you so much. You were great listeners. I'm suppose the exercise really helped. Thank you so much. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nazneen. You had a lot of questions for us. Great questions. Made us think what happened in the meeting. Thank you so much. And I don't know, maybe committee, is there any timeline or number of questions listeners can ask? Or?
No, we're done.
Oh, thank you. So maybe one more role I want to mention, which is role filled by George, filled the position of Kamlesh, and he gave a brief update on what happened last meeting, and also he highlighted who were the awardees for last meeting. So with that, I wish to express my indebtedness to the committee for giving me this opportunity today. Thank you so much. And one last time, big round of applause to all the speakers and role takers, please. So with that, the evaluation comes to an end, and I would like to pass the stage on to Toastmaster Nagendra.
Thank you, Manikantan, for that wonderful evaluation. Please give a big round of applause to Toastmaster Manikantan, everyone. Yeah, with that, we have come to an end of wonderful meeting. We are almost at the end, and I would like to thank each one of you for participating so actively in this meeting, and especially to Srijit for giving me this opportunity to host this meeting. Thank you so much, and I would like to hand over the stage back to Toastmaster Ayappa. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nagendra. What shall Toastmaster Nagendra deserves? Let us hear him with a good round of applause. I would say that was a fantastic meeting today. Yes or no?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, great.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely great.
Let's give a good round of applause to all the role takers, evaluators, and speakers. Special thanks to Toastmaster Firse for enlightening us on how to find a voice. That was a brilliant speech. Wish we had more time for you, Toastmaster Firse. All the best for your role tomorrow in Toastmaster International Conference. All the best.
Good luck.
Congratulations, DTM Rajdi, for successfully completing the path on presentation mastery. Let us give Toastmaster Rajdi a good round of applause. Announcement. This Sunday, we have the installation ceremony for the newly inducted office bearers. Request all our members and guests to join the online meeting this Sunday at 10:30 to encourage our new office bearers. So this is on this Sunday at 10:30 a.m. That's all about the announcements, and it's time to announce awards. I think Srijit, it's ready.
I'm not sure because last role takers have they voted, because I posted the link in the WhatsApp group. If someone not voted, I would request them to vote now in another 20 seconds.
Okay, so in the meantime, let me call out some guests if anybody would like to speak. If any guest, so let me talk to our guest Firse. Toastmaster Firse, you there?
Yeah, he's there. He's on mute.
Yes.
Yeah. So give some your thoughts, your suggestions on our meeting today.
Well, obviously, it was a very well-attended meeting. I mean, I think we started up high 60s, right? That was terrific. That's an amazing audience. I did notice that we're dropping down to 34, so we've got to figure out a way to keep them involved, because there's a lot of great things happening in your club. There's a lot of great speakers. There's great evaluations, very interesting table topics. We want to make sure to keep those people tuned in and maybe find a way to keep them tuned in all the way to the end. That'd be great. But I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, Ayappa.
Thank you so much, Firse. Thank you so much. So can we have one more gentleman? Can we have Vijay Sai? Yes, Vijay Sai.
I really enjoyed the sessions. It was a wonderful constellation of wonderful speakers. Learned a lot. Was completely engaged, glued in, and I really want to join this club. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vijay. Thank you so much. So I think Srijit.
Yeah, it's ready. I am sending you the details.
So can we have our dad Melvin Smith? Melvin, your turn.
I just posted there. I think Ayappa
this is the last meeting. Actually, I feel really sentimental for you because you've done a fabulous job. I mean, your dedication really stands out. These are really tough times. I just saw what Vivek said there, taking us to the toughest times. Truly, Ayappa, you've done a great job. You and your team have really kept the flag of Bangalore Toastmasters flying really high. Congratulations to you and your team. And we hope to see all of you on Sunday for the installation and encourage the new team go forward.
Thank you, Melvin. Thank you so much.
Good luck, Ayappa.
Yes, hello.
Yes. I just want to thank you. It has been a wonderful session for you, and it's been a wonderful long 1 year for you. Luck.
Thank you.
Your next assignment, whatever you're able to take on.
So Vivek, few words from you. Vivek, you there?
I'm there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I don't know what to say because it's been 1 year of really tough times. But for most people who really do not know Ayappa beyond 6 months from now, you must understand that there is only one thing that is done: just persevere, and against all odds, whether it is in his life or in Toastmasters. It's just persevere, irrespective of whether low or up. He just perseveres. I don't have that capability. But I know that if you persevere, you can reach places, and he is one example of that. Definitely. Thanks so much, Ayappa. I mean, and to lead us through this kind of a period is not at all easy. I would have run away. I would have told, let us shut down the club for 8 months or something and then come back. And to enroll really quality people. I don't know how you guys did it. I'm loss of words. And as Melvin rightly told, I'm pretty emotional about this time. I mean, I never thought that I'll be emotional about a term ending. That to a term online which is ending. Never. Thanks so much, Ayappa.
Thank you so much, Vivek, for your kind words. Thank you so much. I think with that, it's time to announce the awards. The best tag team player goes to Toastmaster Nazni, and best role taker goes to Toastmaster Nagendra. Best table topic speaker goes to Toastmaster Sureka. Best evaluator goes to Toastmaster Godfrey, and the best speaker goes to Toastmaster Percy. That's it now. I request all of you to unmute and give all the winners a good round of applause. With that note, I adjourn the last meeting of this term with a big smile. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, Ayappa.
Thank you, Ayappa. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Mr.
Ayappa, for
President.
all your hard work.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ayappa.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you, Sudipto. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Mr.
Ayappa, you're truly an icon, Ayappa. Absolutely.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
President. You were the
Thank you,
first
Nazneen.
president,
Thank you, Nazneen. Thank you.
and I'm being really inspired by you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. To do it for a year is not easy at all. What tremendous consistency, despite all the odds.
Thank you so much. It's all the teamwork, ma'am. Support, teamwork. Thank you so much.
But you led from the front.
Thank you, Vidya. Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, First. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so
Having
much.
me. I appreciate it, Ayappa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
We will invite you
visiting our
sometimes,
club.
for our meeting. First, we will invite you sometimes for our meeting. Yeah, thank you.
Take care and God bless.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ayappa.
Ayappa, can you stop the recording?
Yes.
Thank you.